Electric vehicles will be cheaper now after the GST Council cut rates, which come into effect today. M&M already has a stable of electric vehicles ranging from e-rickshaws to small electric cargo vans. The automaker also has a tie-up with cab aggregator Ola to supply electric cars to ply on roads in some of India's largest cities. But is it too early to expect car buyers to choose electric over fuel, or has the big disruption arrived after the government's proactive move? Let's ask all of these questions to industry leader M&M, and we've got the group CFO at M&M, Mr. S. Parthasarthy, who's joining in right now to discuss the same with us. Mr. Parthasarthy, thanks very much for taking out the time. What's your take on this? And while the government's push to electric vehicles seems to be coming in with full force, is it time to probably sit back and weigh in whether buyers are actually going to see a shift anytime soon, or it's still going to take? It's still a slow process and it'll take some time to kick in.
Morning, everyone. And yes, this is a very important phase where the government has proactively taken the step to give a nudge and a policy direction to getting EVs in the market and in the roads. If you look back, let's say in Europe, this has happened some years back, where policy direction, nudge and infrastructure has helped in some countries pave way for a shift in terms of the way vehicles are on the road, and how more adoption of new technology and new vehicles which are more eco-friendly comes. So India, without having been pushed, has now seen this GST cut, which will provide the necessary nudge. And when you add on top of this, in terms of the fact that there is infrastructure support which will be required, but which is also being tackled, and also a policy direction which says that over a period of time, more and more eco-friendly vehicles should be on the roads, will help this overall shift and towards electric vehicle in the country. Your second question was about adoption. You have already you mentioned in your opening commentary that we have had Ola, but we also have Uber and B2B customers like Bhagirathi, Lithium, etc., all of whom have been trying electric vehicles in the city for commuting of their clients. So it is starting to happen, and a policy nudge will only make it faster, and probably the trend and the trajectory change will happen in the EVs.
So while obviously, the pickup is gradual right now, can you see this as being the next big disruptor and a complete throw-off trajectory for most of the other players that operate on the ICE, engines, and the OEMs seeing a big drop with regards to electric vehicles taking over? So first is the gradual pickup of EVs. As you see that early on, the adopters are people who are doing fleet business. That's how it has happened in India. But with the three-wheelers EV anvil, I think there is a huge, gradual but at the same time dramatic shift in terms of the volumes that has happened in the EV space from IC to EV. So in a sense, we have the opportunity in India to do in three-wheelers what China has done initially in the two-wheelers. So maybe we can own that space as EVs are the mainstream in the three-wheeler market. So there's clearly a push which has happened in that direction, and I hope that this happens over a period in all aspects. So it is not to say that IC doesn't have a future. I think EV has its place in the whole ecosystem, and that's what is the change which is happening.
Okay, Mr. Parthasarthy, good morning. Neeraj here. Now, let's shift focus away from EVs to how the sales are shaping up by and large. And almost everybody that I speak to has an opinion, and it need not necessarily be an informed opinion about when would a probable turnaround happen? Now, the reason I ask you this question is because you guys are entrenched in this industry for so long that you look at trends and probably identify trends better than most. How long do you think, if it's possible to predict, this current downtick would last? Escort's number this morning that the way have they come out also show that the numbers are way lower than what the lowered estimates were. So it's obvious that July also has not been a month of turnaround.
Neeraj, you will have to wait for an answer from me for a week till I finish my AGM.
Okay.
Because this is my silent period and I will not be able to comment on any volume or numbers.
Okay.
My only reason on being on the show was because it was a policy thing about EV. So I hope you understand, Neeraj. So,
okay, fair call.
Happy to come back on 7th when my AGM is over and talk to you.
No,
Yeah.
fair call. Appreciate that completely. Excuse me for that. Then, okay, let's try and rework this question to the other aspect that Devina was talking to you about. Do you think, I mean, a lot of people are saying that the existing business models of companies will stand to get disrupted big time because EVs will take over. Now, I understand this, Mr. Parthasarthy, in the case of certain select two-wheeler segments, because a lot of smaller companies, Ather Energy, for example, have been first off the block and might actually disrupt because the incumbents haven't quite prepared themselves. For four-wheelers, it would be a different ballgame, and you are prepared for it, yes, I agree, but for the other four-wheelers as well, because this might take time, what might eventually happen is that the existing internal combustion engines might get replaced with electric vehicles by the same company. And therefore, is it foolhardy to write obituaries about the existing large cap incumbent four-wheeler companies?
Okay, so 2 or 3 things actually. First is you asked about the change. So two-wheelers is certainly a possibility, but I said India could be a large scale three-wheeler shift to EVs, and that's a thing that is we can see it happening now, and I hope it takes, and therefore we can also say that we have built in an EV revolution in a particular space that could be three-wheelers for India. So I think that could be a primary focus, and as an India Inc., as India as a country. The second part of your question is more about economics, I think. If you look at today, the price or the upfront cost of an EV is higher, the running cost is lower. I would say that as a TCO, it would probably be same as as a IC vehicle or something. So in a sense, a TCO, there may be even keel comparison, and with the GST kicking in, I think it makes it a more even playing field. So adoption towards intra-city fleet owners that's why it is starting to happen, and more will happen. The second one is that there are other constraints or other issues which needs to be tackled, which is around infrastructure. You have petrol pump every corner. You probably need a charging stations equivalent to that over a period of time, and that would probably speed up. And the second one is range. And when range increases, cost increases, so technology costs will have to come down so that it enables range increase at similar kind of cost. So these two will happen over a period of time. So I am very clear that this shift will be gradual and will happen. As far as the companies are concerned, as an industry, when technology changes happen, all of us adapt. And therefore, I am also very confident that the industry and India Inc. will rise up to this challenge.
Industry may, but for a customer, are they ready for this kind of a shift in terms of the differential that they may actually land up paying for moving from a regular ICE vehicle to an electric vehicle, and what would the big difference in cost be for the consumer?
Yeah, so this is a very interesting question. So when you see that an Indian consumer, when Ola drives or Uber drives, or let's say a fleet drives for a BPO, sending from home to office and back. So all of these are based on commercials. So commercials are probably working out at this stage, and fleet owners are able to make ends meet, which is why they are using this, and it's a commercial activity. However, when it comes to home owners or individual owners, they would like more support from infrastructure and range. And I think those are the two challenges which will be overcome, and then the adoption will happen both on a fleet level and on the personal ownership level. And this is a process, and I think we are already on the way, and the GST actually benefits in this count. But what we need to further do is infrastructure support, and I think that both government and private sector have to play their role in making that happen, and then it will become a wave. So we are starting to see around the world and in India a shift towards these kind of eco-friendly vehicles on road.
All right, Mr. Parthasarthy, great to get your thoughts on this particular topic. Appreciate you taking out the time and joining us this morning.
And we would look forward to talk to him.
Yes, like you promised, we will look forward to talking to you post your numbers come out, sir. We'll hold you to it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, that's the management of M&M talking about the gradual shift from the regular ICE vehicles to the EV
EVs.
space.
Yeah, the markets are not taking all of this too kindly. Not the EV thing, but otherwise 0.5% lower. We take a break. In fact, wrap it up on this leg of Indian Open. Up next is the FNO show. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint Live.